Fuck the Pope. Fuck the old Pope and fuck the new Pope. And fuck all popes in general. May they be knocked down from behind and gang-fucked by terrorists daily. Ah, come in, Senator. Good afternoon, General. Pax vomitus rondundus. May I offer you a drink? Or perhaps some sherry or grapes and one or two of those small boys. I find they concentrate the mind wonderfully. The conclave was held in the popedom. Each cardinal was given a fresh novice upon which to carve his ballot. Afterwards, the smoke from their burning ignited the hosts of rabble at the gate. Monsignor, pray close the window. Crowds make the master excitable. Even now his hooves were tapping nervously upon the dais. His shaggy horned head was pitching to and fro. Once the window was closed, they arose as one and lined up at his rear, where they ceremoniously kissed his little red asshole. Such is the manner of the great. Such are the rituals of the great. And those who would become so, from St. Peter's to the Bohemian Grove, from Westphalia to the Bilderberg Suite, so it is. So it has always been. Popes Alexander and the Borgias were so informed, Honorius and Innocent. They knew the value of $1 when there were only lira to be had. Du ex secula exporto poti. A recent pope was so precipitate as to integrate the elect. What courage to have faced down tradition so early in the game. Certainly they awaked us to injustice. See how they seize the evil and make it register in the black, consistently, from the very start. How grateful we are for the Pope, for the cardinals in their little suits. What do you think a raid like that goes for? And the good little bishops who move only on the diagonal, and the rest, only some of whom dine on brandy and cigars, and ride in Lincolns through dirty Mexican streets, only due to the lack of tits on men that the Vatican was being built in Tijuana. There is a saying in Zen: if you see the Buddha on the road, cut him down. Thus I take it to mean that external Buddhas are a myth. So should we not say, if one sees the Pope on the road, to do the same, for he must be an illusion. However, it is unlikely that we shall see him in the commonplace. Such honors are reserved for the singular few, who do not smell, who never sweat, whose hair is never out of place. I have sat in Notre Dame, Our Lady of Empty Space, and when stillness prevailed over the vendors and pigeons shuffling their relics from the cosmic privy, I have heard the relentless screaming of heretical babies, remorseless and unrepentant in their ways. I have heard the victims of Pizarro and Cortez and the Inquisition. Rivers of gold. Rivers of gold. God's men must have golden ceremony for pompous displays of mumbo-jumbo divorced from the pagan witch doctors.
Bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. Bad. Bad. Bad to the bone.
Only by the rapacity of their vision, only by the stupendous grasp of their avaricious, sexless minds, which have transformed all of their desires into one insatiable, soul-sucking greed. The House of Asherahs, providing documents of passage for the Fourth Reich, fleeing the flames of Berlin, and yet serving the synagogue of Satan, who started the whole affair. But there are other fires no pope can extinguish. Vatican passports and priesthoods in hell for the burners of Jews, making up lies for the father of lies. Bad karma for the Christ killers, and to come upon not only Hitler, but the Pope as well. That font of overflowing compassion. One only wishes the Pope would have been able to do something about the money changers while he was trying to sodomize Saladin. What has changed since Luther nailed his shit to the door? The distance of years always gives a clarifying perspective. Up close, right now. We are too often blind. How wise the Pope is to counsel us on sex. A blind brain surgeon, a mute arpeggio, a deaf window on the land of the living. Vampires do not blush, except while feeding. His edicts on birth control make him the biggest mass murderer of all time. Author of Global Starvation, milking the endless bloody nickels of third world hell. Fuck the Pope. Oh, come let us fuck him. Oh, come let us fuck him, for he has fucked us in extreme measure. In this lifetime or some other, throughout the ages the church and state have sat with expanded gut over the common plate. Like pigs at the trough, they have done their special duty to God and man, taking from the one and holding in escrow for the other. God, however, is not their father. God has no need of such things. God could never author such things. Men are the authors. And when men are corrupt and mean and ferret-like, when unmoving ignorance leads, they create the great anthropomorphic fool. From glutinous power, mad litanies they call out of the abyss their likeness, and they call it God. But it is not God. God has left them behind. From the moment they departed, God remained behind. And they stand holding up old bones, dressed in their coffin-bound glitter suits, and they hold up these dead things, and they say they have the power of God. I spit on them. Their church is a tomb. It is a tomb of snakes and spiders and wraiths, of dead children and things that go bump in the sacristy, of all manner of unnatural goings-on. Hoarders of pornography. Spellman on Con's coast, paraphrasing Churchill, was buggery and the lash, killing of saints, torment of Michelangelo, scourge of Galileo, head chef to Giordano Bruno. This church filled with murmurs and groans and wailing, curious scuttlings, the sound of a lizard climbing through the eyeholes of a skull, a gigantic lamia, a blood-sucking siphon machine. It eats hopes, it eats dreams, and it eats shit. It plunders and primps in the universal mirror. Black Satan, I adjure thee. Back into the pit, take the gold, gnaw on it in your darkness ad nauseam. Fuck the Pope, fuck the Pope, get down, disco with the Pope. Pope's got a brand new bag, and fucks the banks and fucks the Swiss exchange and fucks the Club of Rome and the men in the shadows and the Trilateral Commission and the Round Table and the Oil Lords and fuck Walmart and Montgomery Wards, get down, and fuck the Rockefellers and the anthrax letters and fuck the moonshot they filmed in Colorado, get down, and fuck atomic fallout, and fuck the discotheques, and fuck the government. And fuck McDonald's and Burger King and fuck having it your way and fuck all manner of not looking where you're going and driving over the top of others. Fuck your jewelry and your deodorants and your head full of cement and fuck buying and selling and dealing in crap with no value to people with no taste and fuck skateboards and the entire Pepsi generation and young girls with crotch-cutting pants. But I think that's the point. And tuna fish for brains with the emotional depth of a gopher. Get down. And fuck political correctness. And fuck Drudge and Geraldo and all the sickies that muckrake into the lives of gleam smiling androids. And fuck Disneyland. And fuck Rush Limbaugh. And Andy Warhol spitting some hopefuls coming to the limousine ashtray. And fuck Miley Cyrus. Somebody, please. And fuck the record companies, and fuck the morons on TV, and fuck the AMA and the pharmaceutical combines, and fuck the insurance companies, and fuck the Republicans, and all social Darwins and Valiums, and sensitivity insulators, and bullshit incubators to have and to hold. And God bless all kinds of beautiful dreams and people. And this is not the time, nor the poem, for in sickness and in health. And may they flourish forever, and God bless every righteous endeavor, for richer and for poorer. But fuck war, and fuck all merchants of fear, and fuck blind comfort-oriented progress. And fuck all things that keep us in harness till death do us part, and fuck all things that leave us heartsick and broke, and last but not least, fuck the Pope and Monsanto and the Rothschilds and the corporations and...
You are in contravention of the new paradigm.
End transmission.